Sun right now, but if you could all come forward, we're going to have Miss Kathy Norris. She's a great patriot, and she's going to come up here and sing the national anthem for us.
Just want to let you guys know the old flag we've had flying here at Farm Boy for a long time is coming down for you guys today. We're putting the new one up as she sings the national anthem.
Come over here.
Hi guys. You're gonna get a lower selection of the song because of I was sick. I didn't know until today I could even do it. So, but this movement means a lot to me. Freedom means a lot to me, and I'm just grateful for everyone that is fighting for it for us. And I just wanted to volunteer to be of service. Can I go now? Okay. Patriots out there too. I always got a really good tribe. I'm really proud of being part of it. So, Tanya, Emily, Oliver, Sonia. I don't know everyone's names, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you, truckers. At one point, it was 90 miles long. You won't see that on the news, but that's a pretty amazing thing. They are the lifeline of our country, right? Small business, truck drivers, essential workers.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleam, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the land between we're so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, straight as a star-spangled banner, yeah, wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Yeah.
All right, guys, glad to have you all here. I would like to bring up, where is Tana? Tana, come on up. Trump's former senior advisor came to Farm Boy Garage to see all you truckers today.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. How y'all doing tonight? Awesome. Well, welcome to Des Moines for those of you who aren't from here, and welcome home. Actually, I just got off an airplane traveling from Georgia to be here with you all tonight. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everybody who's a part of this convoy. I want to thank you all for showing up and supporting them, but let me talk to the convoy Freedom family, really, to be honest with you. I want to talk to you right now. You heard that I work for President Trump. I think Bob said that. If not, I am Tana. I was on Donald Trump's show, The Apprentice, 17 years ago. Stayed in touch with Donald Trump. I call him a friend. I love his family. I love him, and I love everything that he has done for this great country. Don't you guys? Don't you love the man? Yeah, he's incredible. I was just with him last week at Mar-a-Lago, and I told him how much I love him. I gave him a hug, and I just said, thank you from the bottom of our heart. We have never met a person tough enough to do and say what that man has done. So, I want to say to you truckers, to you people who are putting everything on the line, sacrificing time away from your family, money, your jobs, friendships, putting yourself at risk, putting your lives at risk, the financial strain. Don't think it goes unnoticed. As I said, I was a senior advisor for President Trump. I met a lot of incredible patriots along the way. The number one question I get when I travel the country speaking is, what was your favorite part? Because there was a lot of parts about that job I hated. My number one favorite part of being on his campaign in 2016 as well as in 2020 was meeting the blue-collar patriots. Not the rich establishment, not the already, bred politicians. I didn't like meeting the hotty-toddy people that were writing the $25,000 checks. What I loved were people like you all. I love the truckers. You know what? When nobody would even stand behind Donald Trump, I actually have the sweatshirt in my car, but it's so damn hot, I didn't put it on. When we couldn't even get a person to stand up and caucus for this man, and I was part of a team of 5, there was a man and a woman in Des Moines, and they were both truckers. And they said, Tana, how can we help? We don't have a lot of money, but we want to help. And I said, man, you're truckers. Why don't we start a Truckers for Trump coalition? And they said, done. They had sweatshirts. Were any of you aware of, Gary, you remember the Truckers for Trump? Carolyn and Jeff, 2 truckers. They put their money on the line and bought sweatshirts and t-shirts, and they handed them out at every truck stop across Iowa, and then they became the United States. They did that because they cared. That was their part. But what you all are doing is incredible. And don't think for one second our great president doesn't see you, isn't watching you, and isn't applauding you for being bold and brave. So here, everybody give these great people a round of applause. You all are absolute freedom fighters and freaking fantastic. I love you. And so does Trump. Because at the end of the day, when he came down that golden escalator and said, hey, Tana, I need you to quit your 3 jobs that you love. What? I don't want to quit my jobs that I loved. I was a professional speaker. I had a radio show here in Des Moines. Any Hey Tana Time fans? Did any of you guys watch my show? Well, it was crazy. It was super fun, and I loved it. And he said, I'm going to need you to quit all those jobs because you're going to be working a lot of hours to get me elected. And if we don't win Iowa, I'm going to blame you. And I was like, oh, no pressure at all. So I said, sure. So I quit my jobs, and I put it all on the line. But I did that because he was bold. He was not like anybody else. He sure as hell wasn't a wimp. He wasn't a coward. He wasn't a squid like most of the politicians that say stuff and never deliver on those promises. Donald Trump says, hell no. What comes out of his mouth, he delivers on. I like that. I like alpha males. I don't want no beta bitch. No beta bitch. I can say that now because I'm my own boss. When I was on the campaign, I couldn't say stuff like that. But those men that don't know what it's like to be a man anymore, you need to find yourself. You need to reach down and look for it. It's there. I promise you. You gotta find it because strong, confident, bold bitches like me like strong, confident men like you. So, you truckers are no joke. You people aren't wimps. You people are putting it on the line, risking it all. I talked to a trucker in Georgia, as a matter of fact. He said, my life's been threatened. I thought, oh, I know what that's like. How are you dealing with it? And he's like, I freaking drive with a gun. How do you think I'm dealing with it? And I'm like, he's not scared. He's not cowering. He's not backing down like so many people do. And I just have to say, I can't thank you enough because I know what it's like to sacrifice on a different way when I'm traveling the country pushing President Trump's agenda, I'm away from my husband, who I love more than life itself. I'm away from my children. I'm away from my business. I'm away from my friends. I'm away from things that make me happy. And so are you guys. You're not getting paid for this. So I just want to say, for those of you in the audience who have been blessed, we've all been blessed with different gifts. Mine has been the gift of encouragement. If you have been blessed financially and you're sitting on a pocket full of money, you got lots of zeros in your bank account, do me a favor. Donate financially to the Trucker Foundation here. Gina will disperse it properly, honestly. And where do they donate? Is there a spot? Okay, that ain't big enough for this kind of crowd's money. We need bigger, bigger. All right, so we got some rich guy or woman, $20. Fill that bad boy up before you leave. I don't care if it's $3, $5, $20, $100, $500. These people are on the road for us, for our freedom. Now I want to talk about the people that are supporting them. If you have a spouse that is sitting at home saying, I'm sad to see you go, or you're a parent and you take off and you got to say goodbye to your child, that's not easy. I know what that's like. Saying goodbye to children to go do this thing that nobody can actually put their finger on, and then your friends go, when the hell are you going to give it up? I know what that's like. Hey, Tana, when are you going to quit supporting this guy? Like, the gig is up. Excuse me? The gig isn't up till we get him back in office. There's no gig up. You see who we got running this country? The gig isn't up. We aren't doing enough. So when you have to sacrifice and give up your time and say goodbye to your kids, or you have a spouse that's supporting you, maybe back at home or even here, man, say thank you to them. Because from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to the people that are supporting you on this mission. This is a freedom mission, is the way I see it. It's a calling. Some of us have been called to do this, like Gina, and so many of you. This has not been my calling. My calling is to go inspire America First candidates to step out and take out the swamp. So I'm doing my part. But if you're sitting here just taking it in and receiving what we're giving you, the love, the light, seeing these trucks pull in, I almost started crying. But if you're sitting here as a taker, a consumer, shame on you. What are you doing to help us? Our country is going down the toilet with a big flush, and not a lot of people are doing a damn thing about it. So you better ask yourself, are you doing enough? So if you say, well, no, I'm not doing crap, then get your money up here and help these people get down the road to freedom. And let me tell you what I'm noticing, because I got to keep us on a time schedule because we've got a lot of great speakers. As I'm traveling the country from coast to coast, I'm crisscrossing the country. The same theme is everywhere. The people that are making a difference are mothers and fathers and freedom fighters. So a lot of people go, oh, I don't have a child. She's not talking to me. Yeah, I am. Who I'm seeing step up, whether it's at a freedom convoy like this, whether it's a candidate stepping up, it is generally a mother or a father that has had enough with what's happening. Or it's a patriot that says enough is enough. And what I want you all to know is, and this is what President Trump loves about you all, is there is power in numbers. So if your family says, what are you doing? Man, you're taking time away from work. You're using all your vacation time. Enough's enough. They don't understand that the world is watching you. The world is seeing you, and you are inspiring the world with just what you're doing. You know, if you put your flag on your truck, that is incredible. We already know that the asphalt cowboys are Trump supporters. We already know that. And if you're an asphalt cowboy and you go, well, no, I'm not. Well, there's the front door. Just kidding. But no, if you're an asphalt cowboy and you don't have a flag, it's okay, because we understand what that means. Your convoy says to us, freedom. And your convoy warms our hearts, it makes us smile, and we are so proud of you. I don't know if anybody has told you this, and that's why I wanted to come here. I told Gina, I don't care that I just got off an airplane. I don't care that I have a really early flight tomorrow. I want to be here, and I want to say thank you, because I don't know if anybody has thanked you lately. So, has anybody thanked you guys lately? Shake your head yes or no. Okay, good. I love seeing that. So you have been thanked. Has anybody said, I love you for what you are doing? A complete stranger. I love you. Awesome. And has anybody said, what can I do to help you? No. Okay, well, we got to do something about that. What can we do to help you? So we want you to know, tonight is your night to unwind, to listen to the good music. They got a great sound system here at Farm Boy. There's face painting for the children. You know, your children, if they're on the road with you, let them go have some fun. Let them unwind. Let them disconnect from what's going on so that they can have some fun. Farm Boy does a great job here, and we make it family friendly. So we just want to say we love you, we thank you, and we are all inspired by you. So once again, give these amazing Patriots a huge round of applause. And I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If any of you have a bad day, or you need inspiration, or you just need a little jolt of love or energy or light or positivity, you can follow me online. My name is Tana, T-A-N-A, and all of my pages are Hey Tana, H-E-Y-T-A-N-A. Send me a message, and I'll send you back some love. If you have a question, if you have anything that you need, maybe there's something that we can do. I've got a great network of friends, and we're here to help you. So this night is all about you, to relax, unwind, and have fun, and we just say thank you, and may God bless each and every one of you, and we pray for your safety. So thanks for having me. God bless you all, and have an excellent night. Take care.
Thank you so much for being here, Tana. We appreciate you. So next we're going to have Miss Helena Hayes come up. She runs an organization called Protect My Innocence. Since running that organization, she has decided to put her money where her mouth is and stand up and run for representative in District 88. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me, everybody. I have to confess, this is my very first rally with the truckers. So, gosh, you guys have been a great group. So, I live about 50 minutes from here. My name's Helena Hayes, and yes, I'm running for District 88 in the House of Representatives. And I'm going to tell you why I am. So last year in Pella, Iowa, we had an incident, a single incident, and we had a 15-year-old girl go topless at our local pool. And we're a very conservative community, and as you can imagine, this really upset a lot of the parents. And so, as you can imagine, at the next city council meeting, it was wall to wall, moms and dads and grandparents, and there was people out in the back. We just couldn't get everybody in, and we came against the idea that here we are in a conservative community, and there was this young girl who identified as a boy and thought it was okay to go topless at the pool because of gender identity issues. Now, you guys may be thinking, now wait a minute, what's this got to do with the Trucker Freedom Rally, right? What does this incident in Pella have to do with you? And what does it have to do with freedom across America? That's what I want to tell you about. So, the City Council of Pella said, we're not going to do anything about this. We're not going to take any further action. And they kicked it to the state legislature and said, you need to talk to them, because gender identity is in the Civil Rights Code of Iowa. It was put in 2007. And so we went up there. So we formed a group called Protect My Innocence, from the vantage of the child. And we went to the state legislature with several thousand signatures that said, please, you elected officials, you're there because we are in a constitutional republic and you represent the voice of the people, and here we are. We have an incident in our community and we need to know why this happened and if you'll help us. And we pretty well got stonewalled, okay? all of our voices up there went unheard. And that really bothered me, and I asked why that was. So I began to do some research, and I found out a lot of surprising things, and I hope you guys already know this, but I have some key things I want to tell you about. Gender identity. What's this got to do with you? Number one, we know that gender identity basically means the idea that gender is fluid. Male and female are no longer absolutes, and that there is a spectrum, and you can move between the two genders. And so I want to tell you some of the ways I have learned that children are sexualized, and that's what we do as Protect My Innocence out of Pella. We come against the sexualization of little children. Good. Amen, that's right, it is good. And again, what does this have to do with you? Because I want your eyes to be open as to why this is a problem. So how do you see gender identity expressed in our community? We saw it by a topless girl at the pool. We see it by the books that are in our libraries. Very pornographic books that are given to 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds that are targeted for them. Books about how to have pleasure as a child. Books that should not be given to children because it destroys their very innocence. So, other things that you want to watch for, of course, are transgenderism, the idea that you can move from your birth gender to another one, transgenderism, sex education materials, social media, and of course, pedophilia, which is what this is always seems to be aiming towards. And the other one I want to make sure that I mention to you is CRT. Everybody knows what that stands for, right? Critical Race Theory. And this is where I want to stay for a little bit. What I learned recently this year was that gender ideology and transgenderism depends upon the lie of critical race theory, okay? It depends upon the idea of Marxism. An idea that says that I, as a white woman, I am intrinsically racist, and that I oppress my children by forcing gender roles upon them and putting them in a box. And critical race theory is basically the weaponization of whiteness. And I look across this crowd, and what do I see? I see mostly white people here. Are you guys racist? No. I don't think so. And you're not walking around with this unknown awareness that you really are, but you just don't know it. That's what CRT says. CRT props up gender identity and transgenderism. That is dependent upon that lie. So what I want you guys to take away from me tonight is, where did this problem come from? And I mentioned the word Marxism to you because we all know who that guy is. He was Karl Marx, 19th century German philosopher, right? And there's a couple of things about Marxism you want to remember. Number one, they're probably like a lot of us, they believe in a God, okay? They believe that God exists, but they have great hatred for him and they oppose him in every way. So what does this have to do with your children? Again, it has to do with the fact that woke culture believes that as parents, we oppress our children. We oppress them in their gender and in our idea of being racism, or this intrinsic idea of being racist. So it is a Marxist idea to basically destroy the innocence of your children. And why would they do that? Simply to destabilize the child. When you destabilize a child, what do? Yeah. You take down the family, you take down faith, you take down a community. So be careful, you guys, when you're looking at a school, you're looking at the library, you're looking at media, recognize these places where there is an intentional destabilizing of children, okay? It is an intentional attack on America's freedom. It's one of the ways that we can be taken down. So children's innocence does have to do with America's freedom. Do not forget that, and please just remember that I'm asking you, as a representative of Protect My Innocence, to be active in children's protection, whether it is running for school board, whether it's you truckers. You're always at these truck stops and you know what happens there. You know there's sex trafficking that goes on, so much in there. And as our schools and our government indoctrinates them and grooms people into being sexualized, you can take a part by helping protect them. So I just want to give you guys a couple of things to remember tonight. First of all, I do want to ask that you know, as we think about how we can help our children, I want to ask that you submit yourself to the Lord. You know, most of us are, we're people that trust God and believe God. And you can't help a child if you yourself are caught up in your own addictions and problems. And so ask the Lord for his help and come to a wholeness before him so that you can be an asset to our children of this nation. And make sure you get informed. Do your research, guys. This stuff is happening all across Iowa. You'd be amazed. All the stories are sometimes shut down. People don't hear about it because the communities silence it. But if the media, so a lot of times when they get a hold of it, they like to twist it anyway. So please, I'm asking you to take action, to be informed, and lastly, to have courage, all right? Courage cannot be present if there isn't fear also. If you don't know what to do, that's okay. But have courage and get involved. So with that, I want to thank you guys. Please go out there, help protect the innocence of our children. They're worth it. They're our future, and you guys can be a part of that. So thank you, truckers. Thank you, visitors. God bless you all.
Thank you for being here, Elena. We appreciate you. Next, I'm going to bring up Emily Peterson. She is working with a newly founded organization called America Stands United, and we've recently formed an Iowa chapter, Iowa Stands United. She's been instrumental in standing up for our children at these school board meetings and making their voices heard, making sure that our children weren't just silent without a voice. And she's been amazing at that. She's been my support for the last 2 years at the rallies and protests that I held, and I can't be more grateful for her.
Thank you, Tina. I'm so honored to be here. And I want to bring up my partner, Sonia Swan, who has been with me from the beginning. And when I say the beginning, I mean March, when these masks were forced on our children and they were child abuse. And I called it out for what it was. It was absolute abuse. So I just am wanting to introduce to you our new group. And we are so excited because we are developing and forming a grassroots army to put Iowa on the map as leading the way for freedom. Even though our legislators, some of them are not doing their job and they're not standing with we the people, who is the government? We are. We are. Exactly. So we're forming a grassroots army and we're taking it by storm. And this weekend I have the honor of being with the great General Michael Flynn, and he's going to be wearing this. And he's going to be showing everyone across the nation that Iowans are standing for freedom. Freedom! You know, like Helena said, true freedom can only be given to us by God. And so as I look around, and as I went through this journey of over a year now that ended in banning all mask mandates in our schools, right? We were the first state, Iowa, and you know who got it done? We the people working with champion legislators. We are the ones that got it done. So my journey began in March 2021. Sonia and I were out in the freezing cold before the Department of Public Health, which was really not where we should have been, but our hearts were in the right place. And by the next week, we got it right. And I was standing before the Ankeny school boards protesting against the child abuse that was forced on my daughter. And it ended May 20th, 2021, when we got masks banned. However, that was the beginning of my journey. I had no idea the journey God would lead me on. But it got the attention of General Michael Flynn, and he reached out to me and he said, look, you are making a difference, and I want to award you with the first ever Fearless Fighters for American Values, putting Iowa on the map for freedom. And I said, oh, General, we've just begun, because Iowans are special. We are absolutely a special people, and I believe that with all my heart. I've been here my whole entire life, and I really don't want to leave despite our very cold, crazy winters, and then all of a sudden it's summer. Where's our spring? But I want to stay here because I believe in us as Iowans. I absolutely do, and so does General Flynn. So as I travel across this country, speaking to moms and dads who are tired of this abuse, I am not just a mama bear any longer. I am a freedom fighter, and we're joining forces. And we have a grassroots army of about 6,000 to 8,000 and growing. We are represented by several groups, including Protect My Innocence that's here. We have Project 1791. We have Team Iowa. So we have Iowans for Medical Freedom. We have the Iowa Convoy. We have so many groups represented in Iowa Stands United right here. And we're going to continue to grow. So I encourage you, please register at iowastandsunited.com and get involved. We will send you emails, we will send you texts when events are coming up. And I want Sonia to talk about her journey a little bit and what she's been doing. Because you know what? There's no I in any of this. There's no ego. There's no room for ego. It's mission. Mission over ego. That's what General Flynn has said. Mission over ego. So anytime God aligns my path with someone who is passionate for freedom and God-fearing and God-loving, you better believe I'm going to join them and watch God Almighty do an amazing work.
Did you all know that we have a truck driver as a legislator? He's actually one of our most conservative, constitutional legislators in the Iowa House. So I say, truck drivers rock. So I ran for the House in 2020, and was in a district that was maybe a little more a different party than I was running with. And I did it because God said to do it. And he told me to run, and I didn't want to run. And God may be asking you to do something today or tomorrow or next week that you also don't want to do. So, I told God that he had to, answer some fleeces for me. And I said, well, if I'm supposed to do this and make this happen, and he did. And if I'm supposed to do this, make this happen, and he did. So that was a great journey. But now we have many other people, one standing right here, also running for the Iowa House. So Helena is a phenomenal candidate, and I do believe she can win that seat. And that is what has to happen. So I don't know how many of you are from Des Moines or how many of you are from other places around. We need good candidates. That means people who cannot be affected by swamp. They cannot be affected by establishment. People will stand with their principles. We run political leadership schools. We'll be running candidate schools all over Iowa. And the talent that you know is out there, because you all are the ones that know the people, right? You know the people in your neighborhood, in your town, and you know who will stand. And there's might even be some of you here that could be running in the next election. And you're like, oh, that's not me. That's not me. But it might be you. So I want to encourage you to thoughtfully and prayerfully consider what your role is. If it's, hosting rallies like this, if it's going down to the Capitol and talking to legislators, every single person is important. We have somebody in our Facebook group that said, I'm sorry, I can't do any of that. I can't come to the Capitol. I don't have the money to donate. I can't do this. And I said, yeah, but you like every single Facebook post and you comment on it. And that's important. So every single person has a place in the freedom movement. And that's why we're here today. Because we are Iowa and we are free. And I just hope everybody can chant that. We are Iowa and we are what? We are Iowa and we are free. We are Iowa and we are free. And just keep saying that to yourself. That's what we need to picture and envision and believe in. That we can raise a legislature in the House and in the Senate, that we can send people there that are going to stand strong, that are going to actually pass the bills, because we had many good bills that would have protected our doctors so that they could prescribe drugs for COVID like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine without worrying about their license. There's about 20 doctors that are being hounded by the Iowa Medical Board right now, and there are bills that would have prevented that did not make it. How happy are you about that? There were bills to protect so that no one, like a school district, could mandate any more vaccines on your children, but that one didn't go through either. What do you think about that? There was a bill that would have protected your medical privacy, preventing somebody from treating an unvaccinated person differently from a vaccinated person, requiring them to wear a mask, when we all know at this point in the game that when you have a vaccine, it neither prevents transmission or you getting it. So it doesn't prevent you from getting it or from transmitting it. So there should be no discrimination, but there still is in Iowa because we didn't pass the bill. What do you think about that? So we have some great legislators who are writing these bills, who are working hard on these bills. And then we have some that don't understand that, yes, discrimination is still going on. I have a friend who needs a kidney. She can't get on the kidney transplant list because she has a religious exemption to vaccines. What do you think about that? Right. So I just want to encourage you to keep calling your legislators. I know they've been sent home. They haven't even passed a budget. But I want you to keep calling them and talking to them and telling them your stories. It is your stories that are powerful. I had legislators say, we get these pat emails all the time where, somebody just plugs in, okay, here's my name, and it sends them just a generic email. He said, but with this medical freedom movement, I am getting personalized emails telling stories about discrimination, and that was powerful. Hundreds of emails they were getting about stories of discrimination, and some of you here today were the ones that wrote those emails. So I just want to say thank you very much. Keep up the good work. This is a long game. We are going to take this state back. We are going to make this state be the best state for medical freedom. Just give us some time. We're going to get the people in place, and this is happening because God is on our side, and we are His servants, and we're going to do the work. Yeah?
Speaking of God, we can't do anything without Him, because I see this spiritual battle, and it makes me think of one story in particular. How many of you have heard of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Yeah. Okay, so these three gentlemen are supposed to bow down in their center square to Nebuchadnezzar's statue every single time they hear the music. So everyone gathers, right? And Nebuchadnezzar's thinking, no one dares not bow down to me, right? But these three men purpose in their heart that they will not bow to Nebuchadnezzar or his statue. They will only bow to the Lord Almighty. So today, I see it. I see the system asking us to bow. The government asking us to bow. The government asking us to hand over our children. So we need to rise up and say, you know what? Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they said, even if our God doesn't deliver us, which I believe He will, and He has in many ways, but even if He doesn't deliver us, we will not bow to you. So Lord, we're going to offer you a prayer of thanksgiving and humility that we need to seek your face and seek your help. Father God, we come before you, Lord, with humility, God, knowing that this battle is yours to fight, Lord, and we are your servants, God. Our children are yours. Lord, help us to be good stewards of their hearts and their minds. We know that there is an agenda right now, Father, and that is agenda to destroy, and it is an ungodly agenda, the hearts, the minds, and the souls of our children. And we will not hand them over, Lord, because we stand in your might, just as David said, you come at me with sword and spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord God Almighty, whose armies you defied. And this day, Lord, I know that we are not a violent people, but David came with force. And he told Goliath, I will have your head and I will feed it to the birds. But Lord, I just want that heart for us, that fearlessness, not not the aggression, Lord, but the fearlessness, God, that we have to have in your spirit in order to protect our children, in order to win this battle, in order to go forward, God, against this evil. Because, Lord, we know that silence in the face of evil is evil itself, and you will not hold us guiltless, Lord. So we bow before you when we seek your face. And everybody said, Amen.
Hey, you guys, thank you for being here again. It's Tana, and I'm back, and I was called to do this. So, as I mentioned, I had a sweatshirt in my truck that was an original Truckers for Trump sweatshirt that I got in 2016, paid for by truckers. This couple didn't have a lot of money, and they invested all that they could in these sweatshirts. And this one was mine, personally given to me. So I walked away from my speech and I went, wait, I want to give this to one of you. So what I want to do is, if you actually are on the convoy, in your truck, whether you're a child or an adult, a mom or a dad, aunt or an uncle, whatever, I want you to come on up here, and Gina has got a pad of paper. Just take a little small piece off, and then we'll have you drop it. Maybe we could do it in here after she takes out the money. And actually, this hasn't grown, so I don't know if y'all heard me or not, but put some money in there if you've been blessed. So put your name in if you are on the convoy, and then at the end of the event, something's happening here. At the end of the event, Gina will do a drawing for the sweatshirt. So it's a size small, medium. It's something that would fit me. So if you're an extra large man, it won't fit you, but maybe you would want to give it to one of your children or whoever. So don't let the size keep you from doing that. So come up, put your name down, and I would love to give this sweatshirt. Oh, thank you. I didn't mean to guilt anybody, but we do need to fill this up because these truckers are giving a lot of their own time and money. So thank you for allowing me to give that, and I can't wait to hear who wins the sweatshirt. All right, God bless you all. Thank you.
So there's a pad of paper right here with a pen. And they're going to bring a box up so I can have my hat back and you guys don't have to look at my ugly mug. So next I have Lindsay Mayer here with us today. She's also been instrumental in this fight with me. She's been side by side with me and shared information with me that's been very useful as I have fought this system myself. Almost a year and a half ago at this point, my full-time status was taken away from me because I led a protest out of my work and took 15 people off the floor with me when we stood up against having to file exemptions. Nobody out there should ever have to file an exemption that justifies their walk with God, especially to their employer. That is your walk to have, nobody else's. And Lindsay stood by my side and educated me on so much with this. It's been really helpful. Lindsay's one of the leaders of Informed Choice Iowa. They're a grassroots organization, and they work on educating not only our legislators, but our parents and the folks in the community. And I just really want to thank her for that.
Well, thank you everyone for coming tonight, and thank you to the convoy. I cannot say that enough because what you guys are doing right now is needed and necessary as many people try to forget what happened the last 2 years and just let it go away. Special shout out to the Republican Party of Iowa who didn't want me to speak tonight. Thank you. So what our organization does, we've been around for nearly 5 years now. We have been educating not only Iowans on medical freedom, but also our exemptions, on the risks of vaccinations, as well as the informed consent process and maintaining the right to choice. And thank God we started 5 years ago because we did not know that COVID was going to turn everything upside down. But we were ready. We were ready. We had some of those relationships formed so we can talk to the legislators. Unfortunately, they just didn't listen. They didn't listen enough to do what they needed to do to prevent the discrimination that is occurring and continuing to occur in Iowa. So I want to encourage everyone here to stay engaged. I know you all are because you're in the convoy, but talk to your family, your friends at home, and tell them to stay engaged. Keep sharing things on social media. Keep talking to your family and friends, because we cannot let this just die away and let the next new crisis that they manufacture come out and steal the thunder. We have not restored the rights they illegally took by FDA and CDC guidelines. Those are not laws, they were guidelines, and they stole our rights to privacy and choice. Freedom takes sacrifice and an educated, engaged people to preserve it. If we stop and pretend like nothing happened, they win. They will win, and they keep the rights that we lost, that they have not restored. They get away with the deaths and destruction that have been caused the last 2 years. They get away with the $2.2 trillion wealth transfer that has occurred, if not more, since passage of the COVID CARES Act and beyond. That all that money has gone to private industry, government agencies, right? Research. I used to work in research. I know where a lot of that grant money goes. So we all have to stay engaged, because this country and our individual states, wherever you guys are all from, they need us. Our country needs us, but our states need us. Because even if the federal government is a hard nut to crack in general, but a hard one to rein in, we have to protect our state's sovereignty, our state's rights, because the states, in and of themselves, can push back. Right now, the World Health Organization is amending its international health regulations, and it's seeking a treaty with all countries in the world, a treaty, making the WHO the global health governance body that would operate outside of any country's laws and regulations. Do you want the WHO telling you what to do next pandemic? How about this fall? They're already talking about it this fall, a new variant coming out, right in time for elections, right? We cannot let that happen. This would undermine our health and security as Americans. It defies everything we fought for when we became a nation. We must call our congressmen and women, tell them to stop funding the WHO, and to prevent the president from signing this treaty. This is happening this month, this discussion, by the end of the month. So you need to call your congressman or woman and tell them no. And if you're in DC, just stop in and see him maybe. I mean, you might have to take a shower afterwards, but. We must demand an end to the federal emergency and mandates, and that's what you all are doing, which is what I love, because the federal declaration and the federal mandates have got to stop. They're all getting COVID right now anyway, right? Bill Gates is getting COVID. I don't know how many times Jen Psaki's had COVID. The vice president, I mean, everybody's pretty much had it at this point. There is no federal emergency. And finally, Dr. Bill Gates himself went online and said, look, it's kind of just a virus like the flu. We didn't know that. Yes, we did. The people who actually were speaking out knew that. Especially anyone who actually studied coronavirus. It's a cold. Except for, the souped up version they cooked up. But where we really need to focus as individuals is back at home at the local level. So if we want honorable representatives representing us in Congress, it starts at home. It starts at the local and state level, because that's where they start. Sometimes at the age of 21, in a dorm room, they win an election with no experience of life in general. And they make their way up the political ladder and become a lifer. That is how it happens. And so we have to start at home, getting people elected that have principles. That means getting involved in our local elections and helping the best candidates, not the parties. Now you know why I wasn't invited to speak anymore. The us versus, no, I know, Gina. The us versus them war has gotten us nowhere. It's been going on my entire lifetime, which is darn near 40 years now. It's worked incredibly well for the elites and the parties themselves, because they've raked in lots of money and they've raked in lots of control and power.
So please do your research. Our organization will be putting out report cards on all of our legislators because we believe in accountability and transparency. We believe they should have to have a job evaluation every year, just like some of us do in the real world. And if they want to get upset about how we rated them, then that's on them. You should have to face the people who elected you into office. And if you're not doing a good job, then you should be notified about it. The good people will step up and say, wow, I need to do a better job. The bad ones will probably throw a big fit in public, call us extremists, because they already do that, because we love liberty. Wow, novel concept. I guess I'm there with Thomas Paine and Samuel Adams and John Adams, Benjamin Franklin. Any extremists in the house? Who knew fighting for liberty was an extremist move? Get educated yourself so you can hold your officials accountable. We can't hold them accountable if we don't know the role of government and what they should and shouldn't be doing, whether it's in our state legislators or Congress. Don't ask them to do something that's outside of their job description. And make sure you hold their feet to the fire when they go and vote for $40 billion in aid to Ukraine, when we have inflation and debt coming out of our eyeballs. And then go help the principal candidates. Once you're educated, once you've done your research, go help the candidates that are out there trying to buck the system, trying to overturn the establishment, right? The people who are in leadership, fill their chairs and their assistant majority leaders and all that with people that support them. So guess what? One of our U.S. senators used to be the chair of the Judiciary Committee. How do you think he got there? Because he likes Mitch McConnell and helped vote him into leadership. You don't get into leadership positions without being part of the swamp. The establishment is out in full force protecting its own and its machine. We need to talk to everyone in order to beat them. Endorsements and yard signs, they don't vote. Flashy campaign slogans, those fun commercials everybody was doing last election in 2020, they don't vote. We vote. And we need to talk to other people like ourselves to go vote. Go talk to your neighbors. Go talk to your friends, your family members. Remind them. Primary elections in Iowa are within 4 weeks. We absolutely have to have everybody show up. We can't keep doing the same old thing. I could tell you to call and email your legislators, but my goodness, we've been doing that for 24 months. And what have we got from it? Nothing. A partial mask mandate. No vaccine ban at all, right? I don't know how many different bills passed that help special interests that are not Constitution abiding at all. So it's our time to term limit these people and shake up their machine. It's time to do our research on candidates, and if they all suck, write someone in. Write someone in. Don't just vote based on the party. We absolutely have to stick to principles over party. Let's send the machine a message that the grassroots is strong and engaged. We don't care what names they call us. That we're going to take back this state, this country, from the political establishment, the corporations, the bureaucratic federal agencies and state agencies for that matter, the state and national political parties, and the globalists who seek to destroy freedom. It's time to stand and send a message. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Lindsay. You guys, I may have forgotten to mention that every one of these organizations that we've had up here tonight is a completely grassroots. It all started out here in these crowds. We've all listened to each other, heard what was said, and this is how it's supposed to work. It is supposed to work based on what we as the people want. And if they're not listening to us, it's time for them to go. Next, we're going to bring up Jacob Hall. He is also instrumental in this fight with me. Jacob's been amazing. He's an independent media voice that relies on financial support from his viewers. Keep that in mind, guys. Jacob's been covering every one of my rallies, and if he couldn't make it, he always sent somebody to cover my rally for him. He's been involved in every step of the way with me, And I just want to make it very clear how much I appreciate you, Jacob. Thank you guys. Give him a round of applause.
Alrighty, folks, I'm going to cut it short here real quick. I'm just about out of battery.
All right, you guys, thank you for being here. As Gina said, my name's Jacob Hall. I do the iowastandard.com. It is an online news. I love you guys.